So it was a guy named Sanchez and Smith. They at the 68 Olympics, they held up their fists at the podium in Black Power, right? And there have been a lot of documentaries, there have been a lot of subjects of this saying that nothing has gotten better because they were excoriated, they were rejected by America. And it's been turned into a racial issue. And the reason I think this is important, I'm using a fine example to make a point, is because that's a gross misrepresentation of what happened at those Olympics. Now, they were supposed to boycott the games. They didn't boycott the games. And they came out with a team, and they forced a lot of white people toward the back of the line when they were marching out when they were marching out the Olympics. There was a lot of discrimination going both ways, but specifically at that point there were some white people on the team who were pretty upset. But do you know who the most popular athlete was to come out of those Olympics?
I have no idea. No.
It's George Foreman. You never heard of George Foreman?
I've heard the name. I don't know.
George Foreman Grill.
Okay.
The Grill. He was a heavyweight champion. The Rumble in the Jungle. Ali, George Foreman.
Yeah, I'm 19 years old. Okay?
Oh God,
you gotta remember that.
Well, I said he was one of the best heavyweights who's ever lived.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was embraced by the American public. They loved him. Now you cannot find more of a quintessential stereotype of an angry black man than George Foreman. He knocked everyone out flat.
Yeah.
He hurt them. Right. He was mean. And do you know why Americans embraced him? All he did was he went out, and when he won, he just had a little American flag. And do you know who excoriated him and who rejected him? Was the black community.
Really?
They called him an Uncle Tom. And you can go and read interviews from George Foreman where he said, you know what? He said, I never thought it was a political statement to wave a flag. He said, I never received more hate in my life than from the black community calling me an Uncle Tom. And I say that because I think it's important. They're rewriting history now as though people were mad because these guys were black. And if you read interviews with these men, that's not really, they were actually quite racist.
Yeah.